The housing market continues to have a supply and demand problem, even with the most recent changing interest rates. Baby boomers are aging in place, and millennial buyers who have been waiting for the right time to buy are deciding to get into the market more and more. And all of this is creating a shift in the overall housing market. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I'm Shawn Shackelton, your resource for all things real estate here in Scottsdale and Phoenix. Now, the normal cycle of homeownership has historically begun when you're in your mid to late 20s. Then your family life, income, or lifestyle changes and you move. And that can happen multiple times throughout your life. When you buy your first home, it's not normally the home that you plan on staying in forever, but it's a home you can grow from. But for a large number of millennials, the timing to get into the market has just never been right. Therefore, home ownership for this group has started much later. See, older millennials were not yet 30 when the housing crisis of 2007 and 2008 rocked the housing market and the U.S. economy, causing the worst downturn in the country since the Great Recession. And this alone had many millennials thinking to themselves, I'm never going to buy a house. I'm just going to continue renting, especially after the tough times they watched their parents go through. Then when younger millennials came of age to start buying homes, the U.S. housing market was booming, driven by high demand and historically low inventory, with prices skyrocketing, making ownership kind of out of reach for some. But now, many of those millennials are tired of waiting for that perfect moment, and they are deciding to jump into that buyer pool, and it's kind of shaking things up a bit. In an article in Newsweek, Phil Powell, executive director of Indiana University's Business Research Center, said, "What that means is that there is unprecedented demand for housing, and that is why housing prices are going up. Millennials are putting upward pressure on prices, and it's going to continue. It is not a fad or a bubble in the housing market. This is real. It's demographic." What many don't realize about the millennial generation is that they actually have a larger population than the baby boomers. So when they do something in the housing market, they have a big impact. For years now, it was always the baby boomers. When they made a move, everyone felt it in the housing market. Well, the millennials are now doing the same thing. Now, when we look locally to see what type of an effect the millennials have on the Phoenix housing market, we can see that it's significant, because out of the top 10 states they are moving to, Arizona is number 4. And when you look at the top 10 cities they are moving to, Phoenix was number 3. An even more interesting statistic is that about 76% of people who were born in Phoenix between the years 1984 and 1992 and raised here stay here. So our population in this age group is big. Now, something that could be keeping this group here and helping others move here is our job market. According to an article in the Phoenix Business Journal, we added more than 5,000 new tech jobs in 2022. Arizona ranks number 16 in the nation for net jobs added and number 17 for net employment overall, and its growth is expected to accelerate in the coming years. What that means is more people will be moving here, and that means we will need homes for them to buy. And because most often with tech jobs comes high-paying jobs, this is really good for our economy. So where are we going to get those homes? Well, what we normally see in that cycle of homeownership that I was talking about earlier is that as you age, you might decide to sell your home and downsize. Or it may become unsafe for you to stay in the home that you're currently in, and you make other arrangements. Either way, homes are coming on the market, giving buyers more options. But what's happening right now with the baby boomers is they're deciding to age in place, i.e., they're not selling their homes. And what this does is continue to limit our inventory. In addition to having limited inventory, there are homes on the market right now that need a lot of work, which is not ideal for this buyer. Considering that the interest rates are already pushing their price point so high, they often look at those homes and think, I don't have any extra money to fix the home up the way that I'd like to. I have about 4 buyers right now that, although we can find homes in the price point that they like and in the location that they like, we can't find the perfect home for them. Why? Because many of these homes need a lot of work. And buyers, in all honesty, are more apt to pay more money for a home that they don't have to do anything to and can move right in. So for sellers, this is something for you to be aware of before you put your home on the market. Now, if your home has not been completely updated, that's okay. There are ways for you to freshen it up, make it feel updated and new, and not spend too much money. Now, if you have more comments about that, post it in the comments down below. In an article on arbor.com, they said, looking down the road, seniors' demand for housing is poised to continue growing. A recent study by AARP found that 86% of people over 65 expressed either a somewhat or a strong desire to remain in their current residence for as long as they can. Now, while the size of the baby boomer generation is a major reason for the shift in the housing demand, it is not the only one. That aging in place piece that we just talked about, this is becoming more and more of a viable option. With all the advancements in technology, staying in their homes is not as difficult as it once was. Having the ability to have a medical alert or someone to come into the home to do home health checks. All of these make it much easier for them to stay in their home, as well as having the ease of things like Amazon delivery and grocery delivery. This allows them to stay home and not have to go out as often. And all of these things are allowing seniors to stay in their homes longer, which in turn keeps homes off the market longer for the younger generations to buy. In 11 of the last 13 years, the growth in the number of U.S. households has exceeded the growth in the number of housing units, even after accounting for declines in the recent months. Home prices remain up by 120% since the 2008 financial crisis. Because existing homes have become more valuable, it has become more difficult for younger generations to buy them. And seniors remaining in their homes for an extended number of years means homes are not returning to the market as often as they once did. This is making it really hard for that first-time home buyer. In fact, today, only 1 in 20 single-family homeowners are less than 30 years old. So if we are not getting our homes from the seniors who are staying in them, where are we going to get these homes? The only other place possible is new construction. And new construction has been a bright spot in the last few years. Well, let me just say that new construction has done their very best to crank out as many homes as they could since about 2021. But with supply chain issues, they could only do so much, especially for what the demand has been for them for the past few years. I mean, I don't know if you've forgotten just a few years ago, the immense waiting lists and lotteries and all the things that new construction was doing just to sell the homes that they had, which were not many. Now, with interest rates above 7%, new construction is that place in the market where the builders can shine. They can offer rate buydowns, incentives, and discounts to help the buyers get into these homes. Here in the Phoenix market, this is also true about new construction. In the Cromford Report on February 26th, they said this: supply is stronger than it was this time last year. It's likely to increase further in 2024 because the number of single-family building permits issued in January was 2,720 across Maricopa and Pinal counties. This is up a massive 147% from January of 2023, when we counted only 1,102. Home builders appear to be in an ebullient mood. This is in growing contrast to the resale industry, which is still struggling with low volumes and weak demand. In fact, when you look at this chart, you can see that our resale inventory is going up right now, when over the past few years, our inventory was going down at this same time of year. Something that is important to note is that the last few years were not normal. As you can see from this chart, it is normal for us to see our inventory increase during this time of year. See, we don't have the normal spring selling season that most other markets do. Our selling season actually starts before spring and runs through spring. When you compare that to what our inventory has looked like over the past few years, these were the years that our inventory did not follow normal trends. And many have forgotten what our normal inventory levels look like and when they ebb and flow. We still have to get back to the issue of supply and demand in our market. Because of the millennials entering the market and the baby boomers not leaving the market, this is putting additional stress on our market that is still trying to recover. And what is all of this doing? It is keeping home prices high. Now, if you'd like to see more on how the baby boomers are really affecting our overall market, make sure you watch this video. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.